Hey YouTube, welcome back. Long time away from me, but gotta get back on a horse, so to speak, and figured it was time. Christmas is over. It was great to have a break, but you know what? Sometimes it's also good to get back into a bit of a routine. So, time for a package and pickups video, and this one is going to be kind of a video that I didn't make last year. I mentioned in my last package video that there had been a few, there was a few bits on the way that I wouldn't probably show on camera before 2013. And speaking of 2013, the world didn't end, so that's great, and Happy New Year. Who knew the minds were wrong? Most people I would have thought. But anyway, yeah, Happy New Year, and thank you to all the new subscribers that came on board while I was away, so to speak. So anyway, that's waffle. I mentioned Master System goodness was coming. I wanted to get that list down to 10 for the new year. Just give me 10 titles to focus on, and I think I managed. I can't quite remember, but before we get to that, there was another item that came in, and that was actually a gift sent to me by a fellow Sega 8-bit member, Zavias. He's also, I think, under that name on YouTube as well. Ages back, I was talking about N64s, and I picked up won basically a competition to get a what you call them, like a Game Shark or whatever. And so, well, I don't have an NTSC N64, and on top of that, I'd seen Pete Snestastic get a modded N64 for RGB from America, and it looked pretty nice, I have to say. Certainly better than I was used to playing N64 and an RF connector. Nice, the snow show effect. So this was naturally looking pretty nice. So I kind of had it in my mind, maybe it might be worth getting an American one and doing a mod on it. And then Zavias, sent me a message saying, "Hey, look, I've got a ton of these things. I could send you over one if you like." And I'm never one to turn a gift horse down, or look a gift horse in the mouth, so to speak. Getting those phrases all muddled up. So I said, yeah, absolutely, and it was coming, I think, from Canada. So I paid the postage naturally. The postage from Canada is crazy. If you want airmail, I just said to him, look, I have the cables and connectors. I literally was just looking for the console itself. Just give me the postage for that. And so it was something like nearly $50. I was like, good lord, just for the unit. You'd save a lot of when you don't have power supplies and stuff. But I think it was something like $15 or $18, something like that, for what was it, surface mail shipping. So I said, oh well, I'll go with that, because I'm not in a rush for it by any means. And lo and behold, just before Christmas, it arrived. So there we go, an NTSC N64. So as I said, I have a power brick, and thankfully, actually, oh wait a minute. Oh, I'm sitting on something, that's not good. Thankfully, Nintendo used a fairly decent connector for the N64, probably one of my favourite power supply cords, because it's completely replaceable. It's not tied into the unit. It ends with a standard, well, for us, a standard 3-pin plug. No big hulking wall monster. And the actual kind of block sits largely into the unit itself, so it's fairly covered. You can keep it away tidy. The only downside, I guess you could say, is that it's not a standard one like that you could get a laptop power supply or anything. But that's not too bad a deal. And you can just pop in either a European one or an American one or whatever. So it makes it great for travel friendly, console wise. And of course, then it just uses a standard AV out cable. So I could swap my SNES one, so it was good to go. And of course, standard controllers. The only thing that isn't really standard about the N64, of course, is the cartridges. Now, Zavias also sent over a game to play on the unit. Although then I realised afterward I actually had a couple of them, but I didn't know if they worked. So it was good to have one that I knew worked, because I'll get Banjo, great game. Now, probably not going to come on camera, but basically the tabs. Nintendo's lockout is largely these tabs. So they're on a slightly different pace on a PAL and a Japanese system. American ones have them in the corner, the other ones have them slightly in. So you want to make this system region free or somewhat region free. You just basically burn off the little plastic holder, or cut it off, or basically remove the little physical thing disabling a non-American cartridge from going in. That will get you to play Japanese games fine, no problem. What it won't work with though is European games. Now, I'm not particularly, shall we say, aware of what sort of passport connectors there are for the system. But is it actually possible to play European games on an American system? I think there are universal passport adapters to play American games on a European system, but I don't know if you can go the other way around. Now the reason why is, ultimately I'm going to basically do this one up, give it a clean down and do the mod at some point. And if I could play every game on this, then I'd make this my main N64. If I can't, then what I'll probably end up doing is, because they're fairly straightforward to connect, I'll plug one N64 and leave it, and if I want to play PAL games I'll just use a PAL system. Although it would be a bit of a pity because it would be nice to get them all outputting an RGB. Now the other thing is, of course, PAL games, I have quite a few of the PAL games. Quite a few of the good ones. But a lot of people would say, well, you're basically getting shafted in PAL territory, slower, speeds, borders, yada yada yada. That's a good point. Is it worth rebuying then? There's the other kind of side of the coin. I didn't really want to get into that, so I'd rather use my PAL library if possible. Because I've got some games like Ocarina of Time and things like that are Majora's Mask, and they fetch a fair bit. There's really only maybe 3 or 4 kind of N64 games that still fetch a bit of money that I'm interested in. So I was hoping to kind of go down and pick up a few N64 titles without kind of going crazy on money, especially because I try not to be too box heavy for these cardboard based systems. But for the N64 I do want the boxes, so that makes it harder too. But anyway, kind of gone off on a bit of a side story. Something I've been thinking on, and the advice would be great because, yeah, I love the N64, it's a great system. We're playing it again over Christmas actually, playing ISS and things like that. Absolutely a cracking time. And we didn't even break out James Bond, GoldenEye or Mario Kart 64. That just shows you how powerful the system is. Oh. But anyway, N64, I'll leave it down. Oh. So, thank you Zavias, that was incredibly generous for you to send it over. I'm really chuffed to have a go. I was actually playing a bit of banjo and whatnot. Cracking game. A lot of people say it's better than Mario 64. Not sure myself. I really enjoyed both of them. And I have a story about banjo that I'll go into some other day. I've been rambling on not long enough on this video, and that's only my first video back, so let's get, try and keep it a bit more on target. Maybe New Year's resolution. Keep these things more focused. But anyway, N64. It's in my brain, I just can't get it out now. Master System. So, I picked up a bunch of Master System games, so I may as well go through them. Mixed lot. One thing, I bought a couple of games from an eBay seller. Guy I bought off before, generally, does good stuff. Don't know where I put the games. It was obviously before Christmas, and there was a problem with one of them. And the one that none of them, it was basically cheapy titles. They weren't remarkable, because a fair few of the ones that I had left were not that rare by any means. I've only got maybe a handful, maybe 5 tough to get titles, and the rest aren't really that tough. So these ones were they cost something like a $5 for a couple type of thing. But when one of them arrived, the more expensive one, it just basically wasn't what was in the picture. So I emailed the seller and said, I was a bit disappointed with this one because it wasn't in as good condition and it doesn't match the picture at all. So very kindly he actually refunded that one. So I could have gone into it more if I could find the games, but I'm taking it. I packed them away somewhere, and that's the thing. You know, trying to organize stuff and keep stuff stowed away from moving. We're not moving for a while yet, but because there's so much clutter, it's trying to put stuff in places, and I've already probably started losing things. I hope that doesn't end up being the case. I'll have to have a complete, search everywhere to make sure I haven't got stuff squirreled away somewhere. But yeah, there are a couple more games, and if I find them, I'll throw them in another video. But onto the ones I did find. First up was a game I've been after for freaking ages because it's a good game, and in the end, with prices for the European one going up and up and up, I just said screw it. I'll get the American one and just have it done with it. That is Zillion. So it's in fairly decent condition, and I really did take a chance on this one. It's, as I said, it's the American copy, and it comes with manual and catalog and whatnot, whole shebang. But they just use a stock photo. This was like an American guy who just used a stock photo, and you never know what you're going to get. I said it was complete, so it's actually fairly decent. There's a little bit of water staining at the bottom of the insert on both sides, but that's not too bad. I can live with this. This is a decent game. It's got a somewhat of a Metroid vibe to it. So if you like Metroid, you'll probably you can get into Zillion. It's completely different to Zillion 2, which I got ages and ages ago. And initially, I thought Zillion 2 was meant to be the one that was harder to get, but for whatever reason, this one has been incredibly elusive. Especially the European version. It seems to be going for 12 sterling, 10, 12 sterling around that now, without postage, whereas I got this for about €8, maybe including postage. So there you go. But I guess it's been slightly on the rise for a Master System title, but it's a good game. So, or at least from what I played it in emulation. Got a bit stuck, but it seems like a good game. I'd say try it out if you can, and I haven't even played that much of it. So that was one lone one all the way from the States. Another lone one that was, it was either 99¢ or 149¢ auction, and that's World Games. I always got confused, did I have World Game or Summer Games? World Game or Summer Games, both by Epix, both those mini game compilation-y things, and I just always got confused. So eventually I said, okay, I have to dig out the box. Which one do I have? I had Summer Games. So it was complete, and I won the auction as the only bidder. And to be fair, this came from the UK, and the postage was like 3 something. It was literally the price of the postage. So that was nice because you tend to get shafted with postage. Well, I didn't realise, and it wasn't mentioned in the auction, that the corner of the insert is torn there, which is a bit of a nuisance. Kind of annoys me because if I was to have a sticking spine out, it would be obviously visible. But I don't know, I could replace it down the line. Again, it's not a hugely rare title by any means. It's not a hugely valuable title. You see you buy it now for 6, 7, 8 quid, that region. Sometimes a bit more, but they're stupid. But I picked it up as the only bidder for 149 tops. I can't remember, as I said, it was a 99 or 149. So it was just kind of good to get it out of the way with. Maybe I'll just print it covered, stick over that so that it doesn't bug me so much. Yeah and no. It's been chopped, but however. The rest of the box is actually in fairly decent condition, structurally sound. It's just good to get another one out of the way with. I was getting very frustrated before Christmas. I just I just want to get these things out of the way with, because I hadn't bought one in ages, and I was finding it tough to find them for reasonable prices, especially including shipping. So let's see. I can't quite remember. There's 4 more here, and I think they came in sets of 2. But which way around? Okay, I don't remember where they all came from eBay. I don't remember really the prices too much ransom of any. I'll give a guess of what I think they were. But most interesting one was probably Rainbow Islands. Decent condition. I thought at first the insert looked a little odd or didn't quite seem right, but I think it's a real insert. And the inside is in immaculate condition. Very pleased with this. And the box again is great condition. This was a £5. Now this is one that crops up every day of the week. It's not rare. not even uncommon, I'd say. But it always does tend to attract a bit more in the way of price. Even like I was looking at the auctions and they were going for 7 and 8 quid. I don't know why this has happened all of a sudden, because I've seen auctions end at like 2 quid, which is why I kind of left it. Just didn't get around to picking it up, or either they wouldn't ship to Ireland or they were charging a ton for postage. So this person was charging a fiver for the game, and the postage, if I recall, was fairly reasonable, and I think I got combined with one of the next games. It's an okay game, Rainbow Islands, a decent enough conversion, hell of a lot of flicker though, so that could kind of, you're firing off all the rainbows, and a Master System really doesn't like having so many sprites in a single line, so it starts flickering like mad at times, but that's to be expected, I guess. And of course, it's the story of Bubble Bobble 2. Yeah, not to start a very confusing naming convention. But there we go, late release 2 from the side of looking at the cover style. Next up then we have what I'm guessing might have came with it, can't remember, is the Terminator. Again, a super common title, so to be down to less than 15 to go and your titles like the Terminator, that's good. This sells for 1 to 2 quid max, and it's in immaculate condition, so again I think I probably paid 1 quid for this, maybe 1.50, no more. And for a perfect condition game, very pleased. Actually, it made a nice change, because I'd gotten the spine on a few of them damaged, little water staining, and then the other one that I got the refund on, so I was kind of, good lord, could you not buy something on eBay and actually have it arrive and be in good condition? So apparently, yeah, you could. Those were in great condition. The last two then, at least that I could find. First up was a game that, again, I'm not too sure if this is as common as you might think, and that is Ghost House. And this is the cartridge version. Now, I have the card version for ages. It's in very nice condition again. Don't know that it come with those games or not. All complete and fresh inside, as it were. Even a decent box. Now, yeah, sorry, I had the card version, but the cartridge version has eluded me. Well, it hasn't and hasn't. I picked up a cartridge version a year ago as a Secret Santa gift, but I didn't have it in my own collection at that point in time. In fact, two of the games I picked up for my Secret Santa I didn't know myself, so it was kind of like, oh, I want to keep them, but I can't. But I've been seeing loads more versions of the card game come up than the card game, and then you get like silly buy now prices. I mean, really, this is an early title. It's marked down as being super common, basically. You shouldn't be expecting to be paying more than a couple of quid for it, which is what I finally got it for in the end. But for a while, it was starting to look like I was going to have to pay more, and I was, didn't really want it for basically a variant, because, it's the exact same as the card game. And I was wondering, was it a little less common because it was initially released as a card instead of a cartridge? I don't know. But we got it in the end. It's a fun little game, but well, it says 1986. I don't know that the card came out then too. I thought the card might have come out later when the Master System 2 was released. Maybe not. For the time, if this was still a budget release, it's fun. It's fun for a budget release. Wouldn't go too crazy and paying a lot of money for it though. And then finally, a game that I wanted even as a child and didn't get it, and perhaps I was lucky I didn't get it back then, and that is the Cyber Shinobi. Of course, what could be cooler than Shinobi but a robot Shinobi? Come on, coolness, incarnation, that name. So yeah, I wanted this as a child. I seen it down in kind of a local store, I guess you could call it. They did electronics, and they had some Master System games, which is where I got most of my Master System games thinking about it. And they had this in the window, and for whatever reason I ended up getting Winter Olympics instead of it. Now, Winter Olympics is by no means a great game, but yeah, it's this one. It sounds like it should be great. The first Shinobi in the Master System is great. Why wouldn't this one be good too? It's just, it feels a little clunky, and you've got the weirdest attack. You have this massive sword, but you can barely take it out of your sheath at all. So it's like, I think someone described it before. It looks like you're trying to sprinkle salt on people. It kind of does a bit. It's crazy. And I don't know. It's just that you have this huge status bar taking up like a third of the screen as well. So you end up with a tiny player area. I don't know. Maybe a bit more time in development. They kind of could have polished it up a bit more, but as it is, it's not that great. Well, to be fair, I've only played it a bit. Maybe it improves, but it's complete inside. There's a little tear or something actually on the manual, basically a little damage. And I didn't notice it in the pictures, although it was in the auction. The actual cover has got a couple of tears out of it. I just thought that they were white flames initially when I seen the auction description, but when I got them in person, I said, "Hey, hang on, that's torn." But however, it's not too bad. And again, probably picked this up for maybe £4. I can't remember, but not too much. But it has been sitting around that price recently, so I figured I'll get it done and do combined shipping. Because as I said, there was a few sets of combined shipping in there. But there we go. Nice set of Master System goodies to kind of work down the list. Last year I said I wanted to get it under 15. I did that with this lot. In fact, I think with the other one that I couldn't find, I might be down to 10. So we'll say 10 to go. And realistically, I know I'm not going to bother with the Smurfs game unless it comes down to a reasonable price. I'm not going to spend that sort of money on it. It's just not worth it. So that kind of leaves, I guess, maybe Buggy Run, Home Alone, and somewhat, I guess you could say Robocop 3 as being tricky titles to get, and an unofficial licensed game, which I don't count that as, but and the 4-pack one being a little tricky to get as well because that was only released in Australia. But the rest are fairly doable. You know, a little uncommon, may have to bide a bit of time, but nothing remarkable. Yeah, so I think, could I get it done this year? A lot going on, so it's hard to say for sure, but we'll give it a stab, sure, and not like the Cyber Shinobi who will just give you a salt thing. We'll give it a stab and hopefully we can get it down. So I've rambled on for plenty long enough. As I said, thanks to Zavias for sending on N64. Greatly appreciated. It's always remarkable when people do that. Like, it kind of blows your mind, really. And thanks to you all for rejoining me here after my hiatus, so to speak. But we'll get back into the swing of things. Not too sure about how regular videos will be coming out. More regular than Christmas, but maybe not on the kind of 3 videos a week scale that I was doing beforehand, just because things are so crazy at the moment. Barely have time to breathe. Well, that's not true, otherwise I'd be dead. But yeah. Anyway, stop waffling. Good to be back. I'll see you again soon, probably with a few Christmas bits and bobs. Until next time.